And welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, October 11th, 2016. Just going to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Thank you for your patience with that, and I can't stress it enough, just sharing my own homework with you. So as regular viewers well know, we always start our videos off with a look at the Russell Index, and for that we use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, and we step back to look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. We were paying particular attention to this blue channel that the Russell traded within through all of 2014, had this little lift up and out in early 15, the subsequent sell-off, and then price strength came back in, brought it right back up to this shaded light blue line, which offered some resistance over here, so it may offer some resistance on this side. We will see, but good to be aware of that. We were talking about the candle for the month of September having been complete and having a slightly bullish orientation to it, with price or volume coming in, a wick at the bottom, and a little body. We've got our little trend line drawn in here that you can see more clearly on the daily chart, but I think it's important to see the candle for the month of September relative to the candle that's shaping up for this month. So I'm going to move it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly so you can better see how price is behaving. At Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about this blue line, which is the 8-day EMA. We want price up and over that blue line on the daily chart with the Russell before we put any individual charts forward. In this case, we have price up and over the blue line on both the weekly and the daily. So you can see it up and over the blue line here on the weekly chart. Our light blue area of resistance, this little wedge that's forming, and we'll see if we can break higher, break away and higher and up and over this area. It'll be interesting. Alcoa announces earnings this morning at 8:30. I'm filming this at about 8 o'clock. So it'll be interesting to see how Alcoa's earnings affect the market. I'm going to move it away from the 2-year weekly on the Russell to the 3-month daily, so you can see our little trend line that we drew in last week containing price. It looks as though the Russell wants to break out here. It's sort of trying to. So it'll see how Alcoa affects price today. As I film this, the futures are slightly in the red, so it'll be an interesting day. But with price up and over the 8-day on the weekly and the daily, we'll put a chart forward today, and that chart is Accenture, a company that a lot of you might be familiar with. Accenture operates as a management consulting, technology services, and outsourcing company. I believe it might be the biggest in the world, if not one of the biggest for sure. You know, at Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about value. So Accenture has a nice value score. The second thing we look for is growth. Accenture has a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 10%. So for value and growth. The third thing we look for is a dividend. We don't always get that, but in Accenture's case, it's there. It's got a dividend yield of 2.06%. Love that. For those of you that are into PE, the PE on Accenture right now is 19.91. So let's get over to the chart, take a look. Here's the 5-year monthly chart for Accenture. First thing you want to see is that it's in this beautiful uptrend. They announced earnings in the last week of September, which pushed price over and above this orange line, which was resistance in the past. But those earnings were good, the market liked them, and it moved through our orange line, so now that orange line is support. I'm going to move it away from the monthly to the 2-year weekly so you can better see. So there's the earnings and the move with the volume up and over our orange line. And now it's sitting right back at that area of support where I think it might be interesting and one to keep an eye on. As you know, I'm never making a recommendation whatsoever, and I do not own Accenture. I just think it's a chart that you might want to put on your watch list, do some more homework on, and perhaps keep an eye on. At Chart of the Day Cafe, we talk about this all the time, the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. And the pink is the 3, so when the pink moves over the blue and price moves higher, That's an interesting area. So we're looking for that lift. We have the 3 and 8 cross on this one. It's in a squeeze at support right here, so it might continue higher. We will see. Worth keeping an eye on. You know, in preparation for these videos, I also want to show you the sector that it's in. So here's the services ETF, IYC, 5-year monthly chart. You can see, just like Accenture, beautiful uptrend. Sort of flat right here, but if Accenture breaks out and the market continues higher, it would make sense that this may have a little bit of a breakout as well and move higher. But overall, trending higher. The other thing that I wanted to say is, you know that we're past earnings, which is nice. We've been talking a little bit lately about seasonality. Here is the seasonality chart that I will include with today's video for Accenture. You can see that here's our little line. October, it usually has a nice strong run through the back half of the year. No guarantee that'll happen this year, but in the past, you've got seasonality in your favor. Also love this website. Along with Equity Clock, they're both really good. The other thing is I'm going to put forward an article that talks a little bit about their earnings and gives you a little bit more detail on them. And as we've been doing lately, the check the boxes exercise, which I think is really important and a good thing to do. So, whoops, let me just get that over so you can see. So here's our boxes for ACN. You want to see that the market's in an uptrend, sector in an uptrend, ACN in a long-term uptrend on the 5-year and 2-year chart, lifting off of support, maybe. It's got a good value score, it's got a good growth score, it's got a dividend yield of 2.6%, already has the 3 and 8 cross in a squeeze at support, may continue higher. It's past its earnings, so you don't really have to worry about that for a while. Oh, recently upgraded, you might want to take a look at FinViz. Societe Generale moved it from a hold to a buy. You've got seasonality in your favor, and sky is blue overhead, no overhead resistance, all good. And then that PE of 19.91. So with that, I am putting ACN forward as my chart for today. And I also wanted to flag for you a past chart of the day cafe pick that I think looks interesting here, and that's Strumruger. I checked the scores on it this morning, and they're still where we want them. I like this low, and then what might be a little bit of a higher low breaking out of a bigger wedge. Let me pull it away so you can see this a little more clearly. It was a chart of the day cafe pick that we put forward way back in here. So sometimes you have to be a bit patient. It sort of had this little run lower and then scooched much, much higher. So I am going to reiterate RGR here. I'm going to put a little green circle on the chart for RGR and ACN. There we go. Green circle. So you want to see lift and the moving averages cross. So with that, I'll leave you. Have a great week, and we'll put another video out on Thursday. Thanks very much.